Hey again, everyone. Welcome back to your favorite convention-related podcast, Con Job. This week, me, Dylan, and Jeremy are going to be doing a review of Kawacon, which took place the 17th through the 19th of January in San Antonio, Texas. Dylan was in person at this one, so you get a little bit of insider information. He drove down himself, so you get to hear about it from that perspective. So, hope you guys enjoy. And we are back with another episode. And I have to say, Jeremy's here in full force, and you can see Jeremy and I both got the same haircut, which is nice. And Dylan's back. He's no longer just a black square this week for those who watch on YouTube. Welcome back, Dylan.
Hey, how's it
welcome
going?
back in person, I guess.
In person, yeah. I was here last week. Last week, I was on my way to the show we're talking about today, which is, I think last week I said Kawacon. It's Kawacon. And so I was heading to San Antonio. Kawacon, January 17th through 19th. And couldn't wait to talk about this show because, I won't spoil it. But let's just start how we normally do.
So tell me this: how far is San Antonio from where you are in Denton, home of the Von Erichs?
4.5 hours with good traffic, which luckily both ways there and back, I managed to snag some good traffic.
Okay, all right. So then,
let's start. People now.
You can triangulate what I just said. Maybe you can find my headquarters.
Okay, so let's go to load in, I guess, where we always start. Give the people the knowledge.
Well, first off, the show started at, I believe, 1:30, and so part of me thought, oh, you know what, maybe Friday morning I'll just wake up at 5:30, just go straight there. Really glad I didn't. Again, I kind of underestimated this show, but I was like, yeah, let's get a good night's sleep. So I left Thursday afternoon, and then dropped off everything. By the time also email said load in closed at 6, and so I made sure I was there. I ended up getting there at like 5:30. Load in actually closed at 10. I probably would have changed my whole day around that had I known it actually was 10 instead of 6.
Sometimes the shows will say it closes in terms of they won't let any more cars in at 6, but they'll leave you in there till the building closing is different than the gate to enter the building is usually at a different time. So that happens a lot. Like Mega. It always happens that way where it's like they close at 6, but you can be in there till midnight for the most part. So anyway.
So yeah, I get to the loading dock, quite a bit of a line because I think they're really only letting a very small amount of cars in at a time, despite how much space they have. I'm inching my way forward. I feel like 30 minutes in, when the guy goes, "Oh, you can go and check in. You can just park your car there," and that's waiting for a while. And then I go, can I just park right there? And he's like, oh yeah, you don't have to go into the loading dock. So I just parked right next to the loading dock. I could have been in and out an hour earlier, but I was trying to go through the loading dock. Ended up just rolling everything in. Super easy load in.
Are you? What kind of car are you doing when you drive yourself?
SUV.
What's your vehicle situation?
Yeah, so I got a Honda CR-V. I can stuff a lot of stuff, and when I do driving shows, I have these nice flex, that's what they're called, flex luggage. They're basically like toolboxes, but they can stack, they lock in. So I can do a dolly and these and roll them both in one go. My whole setup in one, even though it's a few 100 pounds, I can just roll it all in. Take it over to my spot, and since I was already parked there, just set up for probably about an hour and a half, and I was out of there by like 8 or so, and easy breezy. Really easy load in. So
is this near the Riverwalk?
It is. Yeah.
Okay. Because
the other, we do quite a bit of San Antonio shows, and I'll mention those later. But this one, is at the heart of the Riverwalk. The other two main San Antonio shows that we've talked about, that's over at the Rodeo, so that's kind of far away from the Alamo and all that. But this one in the heart of it, and yeah, I really like this location and this venue so far.
So the same Alamo where Pee Wee's bike is, right? In the basement.
Yeah. You ever been to the Alamo, Ryan?
Yeah. I've been.
Okay.
Do you remember it?
I do. Sam Houston.
I was very disappointed.
David Bowie. Sorry.
Which is this at the Henry B. Gonzalez?
That's it. Yep.
Got it.
So let's see.
So then, yeah, just Friday then, right? So we did the last time we were in San Antonio was SpaceCon. It was underwhelming show, right? So not a ton of people on that one. You can check the reviews, obviously, in the archives. But so what are your thoughts? So let's I don't want to compare. I guess I do. Let's compare.
Well, I think this is a great point to mention that San Antonio seems to have a sizable show every 5 or 6 weeks. Because, there was SpaceCon end of October. And then about 5-6 weeks later, there was Ichicon in San Antonio. And then last week we had Kawacon. And then on Valentine's Day in just a couple weeks, we'll be back at Animeverse Fest. So, San Antonio's churning them out. So I think it is nice to kind of compare them all, because some people have their reservations about hitting the same city multiple times, but these guys are all very different shows. The SpaceCon, that was Star Trek, Star Wars people, and this is purely anime. The Ichicon one we did, that was 18 plus. So, these are all still hitting different markets, even though we're in the same city.
Okay.
But yeah, Friday, they had. I couldn't quite gather what I was noticing, but it was giant hall, but it was kind of split up, just kind of an imaginary line. There was kind of like a garden. Half of the vendor hall seemed to be open 30 minutes earlier than my hall. And I didn't really go over there and be like, what's going on? But it seemed like I had an extra 30 minutes to just kind of tidy up. And then whenever our hall opened, people flooded in. And so Friday, I think it started at 1:30, which love that for a Friday. Like, unless we're New York or something, no need to have a Friday at 9 a.m. And what I loved about this show, it was from 1:30 to 8, and that was a really dense 1:30 to 8, like as opposed to like 9 to 7, which a lot of times they do. So as soon as those doors opened, we had a really good time. So not a lot, a lot of times when you go to these same cities, we see familiar faces. Didn't see a lot of people that I recognize.
Hey, where are you at? Blah, blah, blah.
Exactly.
Yes, I was.
Now, something that I've been trying to keep track of for different shows this year is on Friday. Are you seeing a lot of single day badges, or are you seeing weekend badges?
I think there's a whole topic we could talk about that, because I kind of approach when I see a customer with a Friday badge versus a weekend badge, my whole sales technique actually kind of shifts. Like,
Yeah, that's good.
So, I might be a little bit more aggressive with that. I'll tell you what if I said buy 2 get 1 free instead of buy 3 get 1 free for a Friday, and so I might do that. There were quite a few just Fridays, and then the rest were kind of weekend.
Yeah, because that always throws me off when you're at a 3-day show. You still see a lot of like Friday, like single day badges. And to me, it's kind of just like, it doesn't really compute. Like, if you're going to come, but different people have different reasons for doing that. So I think I've been seeing a lot of that.
While we're on that topic, I don't mean to sidetrack completely, but I'm going to anyway. But when you get, how when the show first opens and you have a booth where they're like, oh, you're the first one I came to, I'm going to look around first. Do you have a different sales tactic for those people? Or do you just say, oh, okay, sure, I'll see you soon? Like, how do you work that one? Because it depends too for me. So that's why I'm asking. I
can be really animated. I'm the type of salesperson that never pushy. I make sure everybody walks away happy, but I'm the kind of person that if somebody was doing this at me, I'd be like, let's slow down a bit, buddy. But I can kind of play with them, and let's say like, I just started, and I'll be like, tell you what, you'd be my first customer. What if I said, I'll throw in this if you make a purchase in the next 30 seconds. All right, and going once, going twice, things like that.
Do you pick and choose that, or is it every time, or just kind of random? However, when I'm feeling freaky.
Oh yeah, especially start of the show. I feel like I want to get my momentum going, so like I'll kind of do what I can to get that first sale, get my momentum going, and it kind of just affects the rest of just my whole day. So
okay, all right. Sorry, go back to where we were, if you can remember.
I always say, you'll be back. It's fine.
I always tell them, I'm like, yeah, all right, I'll see you soon. Don't be too
I'll be
long.
like,
Yep.
get out of here. You don't want my stuff.
I will say I will say for me, it depends on what they're looking at. If it's something we have 1,000 of or whatever, sure, whatever. There's a reason I bring 1,000. We'll sell a lot of them. Like you coming back is not. I'm not hinging my day on that. If it's something more along like some of the stuff we only bring like 2 or 3 of, I will be honest with them. Be like, just so you know, these could be gone. Yeah,
Right.
and if you want it, like I always say, I'm not trying to like sell you on anything, but there's the very real risk that it's gone.
Okay. All right. Just wanted to maybe people can chime in on that too if they how they approach those, because I'm sure we all get a ton of those during the show. Oh, I just got here, blah blah. But okay, doesn't mean you can't buy.
Yeah.
In terms
of, it's bad if you're the last booth in the room and they say that.
Yeah,
you're in trouble.
Right. That's true. So all right, so let's
terms
continue
of,
back on Friday.
Yeah, on Friday, in terms of sales, overall, I had a great time at this show. But again, looking at the guests, maybe it's just because I didn't recognize any, and this is a positive thing. But it was kind of a fairly cheap booth price, and so all of these things, I really underestimated this show. And I had a number set in my head that I would be happy if we made this weekend, and we made that Friday. Again, not trying to really brag. It's just I had low expectations, and so I was like, wow, this. I wish I had brought more stuff. I would have been way more prepared, and I will be next year. So we had a good Friday. Let's see, and then move forward. Well, I guess yeah. Then I had a steak that night, and then went to bed just like that.
Was it a
steak money?
A skirt steak or a sirloin? There's a difference.
I think it was New York.
Was it a fillet? Okay. All right.
Let's see. And then if under warmer circumstances, I could have walked from my hotel there. And part of me, whenever I was planning my trip, I was like, oh, like 0.8 miles away, totally just going to save on parking and walk there. But, it wasn't the most warm. And I'm glad I drove there each day.
We have the whole southeast with snow from Texas to Florida. Everybody was freezing.
No, it was so cool seeing those pictures of like Destin Beach, where it's like people sitting on the beach and the ocean water's moving and they pan down and there's snow. Right. It was awesome.
It wasn't too bad in San Antonio, like 4.5 hours north. My wife's like, oh, our heater just broke. I'm like, well, that's what this show's going towards. So we have to get a new heater and AC unit. So, always fun whenever that takes the wind out of like whatever the show does. Like, got to go to this. But yeah, get there Saturday. I think it started at 11:30, so pretty late for a Saturday. 11:30 to 8. I would say average shows are what, 10 to 7, 10 to 6, 11:30 to 8. And again, that weird 30-minute VIP window. So technically, my hall opened at noon. But
is this like I know nothing about this show, so I'm just trying to feel it out. Is this a show where a lot of people stay, like something attached to like there's a lot of partying going on? Like, is there a reason that they would open it so late?
I'm not sure. I didn't gather that it was one of those like sort of hotel anime party shows.
Okay.
And if so, I came through the load-in dock every single day, so I couldn't even tell you what was going on in the front entrance in the hall, if there is more drawing people in. But
because I personally like shows on Saturday starting a little bit later and going. I'd rather go a little bit later into the afternoon on Saturday than to wake up at 6 and be there early and be done at 6 or 7, because I feel like on a Saturday people are slow to get out of bed, whatever. So I actually think that's a good move. I don't know if you can tell us if it translated or not.
No, it seemed it was a wonderful Saturday, and in the end, it ended up doing about double of what Friday was. So I was feeling pretty good. And again, great hours. Got to sleep in and have like basically I didn't even have breakfast. I just had a really big lunch, and that held me over until 8, and then went to some pasta place that was like 15 minutes away. Totally worth it. Totally worth it, but I can't remember the place. And
Was it Spaghetti Warehouse or something out there?
there was some live guy singing Frank Sinatra, but I'll tell you, when I walked in, I thought it was karaoke. Like, there was kind of a karaoke machine looking thing. I was like, I get what you're going for, but this isn't quite the vibe. But yeah, and again, I didn't really recognize any of the guests. So I can't say like the guests are what brought this in, but maybe it was. They're all voice actors for anime, and so that's really just my ignorance as to who they are. I'm looking at it right now, and I'm seeing some familiar like characters, but no names that I actually know.
Also, for the voice actors, most of them voice like 20 different things, 40 different things. So
it
it's
pays
like
so little. I found out that they pay so like $200.
Yeah, they don't make
it's ridiculous.
I mean, it's also, a lot faster than live action stuff as far as that. So they end up getting to do like several different things, and
but I heard like
I think it's a good bang for their buck as far as a promoter goes too. So everybody's going to want to hire those.
Well, from what I understand is they know they're going to be, the people hiring are knowing the people who do the voices are going to be doing shows like, Comic-Cons and making money. So they factor that into their, like, for example, I heard, and I don't know how true this is, but it's a pretty good source, that the person who played Gojo, which is like one of the most popular characters on Jujutsu Kaisen, that he made like $400 for that show. It's a couple seasons.
There's
a couple mini movies in there, and it's still going. But it's he does shows from time to time. But it's like
per episode
really?
Or total?
Total.
We need to find some voice actor people to interrogate on here.
Yeah.
But I mean, if I'm a voice actor, if I get one show, if I'm in one episode, sign me up for some conventions. I'm there.
Oh, absolutely.
Because there's always, it doesn't matter. It takes
someone will love that character.
Mm-hmm.
There's a wrestler, a professional wrestler named Effie, who did a voice for, I think, one season in this show that was on Cartoon Network or whatever. I don't remember what it was. But we were at a show. He was there as Effie, the wrestler, and it turned out that like everybody that came up to see him was like, voice. "Oh, you did that voice," and he was like, "What the hell am I doing?" Like, this.
Yeah, they're all business. I'm beating my body up every day.
So if I'm in one thing, sign me up for every show. I'll be at 50 shows a year.
I know Alexa Bliss she just voiced a character in some show.
Yeah,
like,
you don't get to see her for a while.
I think when you first showed me that, I go, "Was that Harley Quinn?" And you go, "No, that's
the dark version of her
kind of the deal
character." Yeah, she's known as the goddess, but it's neither here nor there. That's her name. Anyway, back to the show.
Voice actors were the main guests, and was it like a ton of them or just a handful?
At least on the website.
There's 13 of them on the website.
Exactly. And we look at the guests for every show we do, and we might be like, get a sign. We'll put what's on the front to show off. And didn't even do that. And because normally there's so many interactions where, like, let's just say someone's like, "Oh, I'm going to go get this sign." I'll say, "Hey, if you come back, just show me that you got it signed. Like, I'll give you a little freebie or something." And there's just I'm all about giving the customers freebies if it means coming back. Plus, I mean, I like to, get a pic of it signed, and then they come back, they show it, we have a nice little interaction. But yeah, I don't think people were buying to get things signed, at least out of my booth this weekend. But let's see, jumping forward to Sunday, another 11:30 to 5. What a nice dense show.
Beautiful. Wow.
Yeah.
I wonder if the promoters are like former vendors or something.
I told
they're doing all the right stuff.
At the Carolina show, I specifically told that guy, the promoter, I said, "Look, these hours, I love you.
Mm-hmm.
2 days, I love you even more."
It also trains the customers. It's like, hey, there's a small window to make purchases.
I'm gonna be here 9 hours. I'll be here for 5. Let me buy something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, unless it's one of those shows where
unless there's just too many people and they can't get all over, then it's different. But Like a MegaCon
Yeah,
can never get away
the
with it.
giant
It's too
shows. Like
much.
I'm thinking MegaCon New York, where they're
Right.
having to wait hours and hours
Mhm.
for an autograph or something like that.
Right.
That can be a detriment. I'd like to have. I think it would be cool to have, like hours where they know the celebrities aren't going to be there. So it's just like
Yeah.
you don't go wait in line, like just 2 hours at the end of the day or the beginning of the day, whatever that would look like. I think that would be cool. But sidetracking again. But
Yeah. Sorry, you're entitled.
great hours.
Well, you know,
Yes.
sales wise, this is like the third show ever for us that doesn't fit our formula where we have Friday, we have Saturday, and then Sunday's usually right in between. This one, it's like we must have milked them all on Friday and Saturday because Sunday was pretty low. So I would say, looking at that, um, not I would say we did 75% of what we did on Friday, and but you know, very short hours and still had a wonderful Sunday. But you know, normally we kind of hit that in between Friday and Saturday mark on Sunday. But so as for loadout, could have been very easy, but because it opened at 11:30, I waited till the last minute. Had to get a pretty far parking spot, and so I could have dealt with the loading dock. But knowing how long I waited to load in, I was like, I'll just roll everything as where I parked pretty far away. And it got a lot colder on Sunday, and a lot of vendors did what I did. We roll over to the parking lot, and then the next parking lot under, there was a sort of gate, and I would say it's at waist height. And people were just going in and underneath this gate. But with my dolly, it just so happened to be like 6 inches taller than this gate. So I literally had to take some stuff off my dolly, roll it under the gate, and put it
Oh
on top.
no.
Again, this is all unnecessary because I dicked around and got there too late. Could have had a nice parking spot. So I was the one forced to, in the cold, unassemble my dolly to get to my parking spot because I didn't want to deal with the loading dock. But once I got there, easy, and then 4.5 hour drive home. I was home at midnight.
It's not bad. Anytime you can be
Not
home same
bad.
day,
Mm-hmm.
that's a
Yeah.
win.
Agreed.
Now, did you do this solo or did you have help?
Did this solo again. Really underestimated it. I did not rebook because they couldn't yet, but mark my words, as soon as I can, I will. Recommend everybody else check it out. Apparently, I think this was their third or fourth year. So I've talked to other vendors. It's a track record to keep growing. So the hall was definitely big enough. They could fill in more vendors, whether they willed or not. It just, there was a lot of extra space. So definitely be
That's
rebooking.
nice.
My wife and I will do it next year, and I will pack a lot more stuff. So hoping to have an even better time.
You have a guesstimate on attendance?
Oh, you know, in my little sheets, which, you know, take it with a grain of salt at all times. I just have 3 question marks. I couldn't tell you.
Is a
But I
question
will
mark? Is
say
a question mark 1,000 people?
I'll tell you this. I've been at shows with a much bigger attendance that weren't spending as much. This was
Yeah.
That's
One
these
thing I
people were
don't
there to
get a
spend.
lot of this. Yeah, when we see, we talk about it as vendors too, where you see shows where people just walk around with empty hands, and it's like, well, I understand some people just come to look around, but when you're getting like a majority, like, really, what are you doing here? Like, why? How is this even possible? So, like, I heard New Orleans was similar to that this year.
Yeah.
But
Mm.
but yeah. Anyway, just a minor rant. That's what I do. Rant-tavious.
So I would say in its category of size, 5 out of 5. I'm not saying it's a MegaCon show, but
Relatively
I'm
speaking, it's a 5 out
relatively
of 5
speaking,
for everything
especially
in cost and
for the price. I mean, especially
yeah.
for me to travel, but even the
So
price for the booth.
so you drove there. What are your thoughts on if I flew here from Florida or Jeremy came from
100%
South
worth it.
Carolina?
I
What if
think
someone's coming from Denver?
I think it's worth it. There are way more shows that we'll fly to that are more expensive and yield less results.
And San Antonio is an easy airport, so it's not like you have to fly and drive from Charlotte to Columbia, South Carolina because of snow. But that's sorry.
If I had to, I would
Plus
fly
most
someone
of the
from
time,
the Vegas team. It's so if I had to,
Nah.
I would.
most of the time, San Antonio is not freezing cold either. It's the Riverwalks.
Mhm.
Riverwalk is a very easy place to get around.
So, I'll be back at the Riverwalk for Animeverse Fest. No, forgive me, that's in Houston. I was thinking I'll be back in San Antonio in a couple weeks. That's actually in Houston, so never mind. But
Yeah, those are different
um,
places for all you
yeah,
Texas people out there.
but I'm getting confused because there's a Houston show next week, and then there's a Houston show 2 weeks later. So I mean, heck, Houston and San Antonio. I feel like I'm there every other week. It seems.
At least they're in the same direction.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. Trying to think, is there anything else you want to add? I mean, obviously, it sounds like you recommend this show for everybody if they have a chance.
I met George, the showrunner, at least the guy in charge of vendors. He was a really
Bring him
great
on the
guy.
show. Don't be shy.
Yeah, I will. I'll have him shout it from the rooftops to apply to this show. So
All right. All right, cool. Well, that was nice and easy and very informative on that one. So appreciate it.
yeah, there's really not much
Anything
else to
else?
say. No.
Jeremy, you got anything else you want to add?
Just keep
Hatbox Harry?
nothing for that show, but I will say, we've been hyping up MegaCon. So once again, if people see us at MegaCon, come up, say something.
Yeah, I think while we're there, we need to do a just get the three of us together somehow. I know Jeremy, you usually stay far away. Dylan, I don't know where you're staying. Are you going to be there, Dylan?
Yeah, I'll be there, and
we need to
walking
figure out.
distance.
We need to figure out some time to get together, and even if we just do a quick 5-minute recap, that way we kind of get a live, boots on the ground version. So
We can walk
anyway,
by each booth, and be like, "Hey, yeah, blah blah blah."
And we'll try to go around with Jeremy's nifty little microphone and get some tidbits. So
yeah.
All right, but what were you saying, Jeremy? I interrupted you.
I was gonna say my Savannah show got iced out, so missed that. So we're not doing anything until MegaCon, and then we're straight from there to Pensacola. So
how did they handle the Snowden? Were you out the booth, or did they refund you?
So it's rescheduled, and it's going to be end of February.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw the thing for it's like the 22nd weekend.
Yeah, so it's I know there's some disappointment there, but like everything's closed and everything's iced out. So I do think even if they had the show, that people wouldn't have been able to even get there. So it would have just been.
Like they made the right call.
Yeah, it's it's one of those. It's the business side of things sometimes is tougher, but yeah, I think that ultimately they made the right call.
It's got to be tough though. People already got.
Yeah.
I mean, it's it's not like you're doing it a week before.
Yeah, that's with it being weather, and it's it's kind of hard to believe because you don't think of a place like Savannah freezing over.
Right.
So
right.
It's kind of like, oh sure, whatever, and then you look and it's like completely it's like multiple inches of ice in the loading dock.
I saw some pictures of it. Yeah. All right, cool. Well, Jeremy, you get to take us home. How about that?
Cool. Dylan, thank you for that. Appreciate it. We try to get him on here. Get George, come on the show.
Yeah.
Everybody else, we will see you all at MegaCon. We're going to have a big show for that. Uh-oh.
I have one thing I want to say.
One more thing.
All right, Ryan, you take us home.
Ruined it. Yeah, now you do it.
I'm sorry. So yeah, I get a lot of stuff and people are talking about different shows that they want to see reviews. If you do have any ideas on shows you want to get reviewed, you want to come on, hit us up. We have our Instagram, we have our Facebook. Leave a message on the YouTube, leave a message on Spotify or wherever you're listening to the podcast, but you can see it on YouTube as well. And you can see my hair is just as long as Jeremy's. So we'll go from there. Yeah. Wait till I get back from Turkey. It will be. Anyway, yeah. So with that said, thanks again, everybody. And we'll catch you next week. See you.
See you soon. Bye.
See you.